right. We got another good one for y'all. Wait for a couple more peeps get up in here. Let people know we live. Let them know we live. Y'all know what it is when you hear it. Let me go ahead and play it for y'all.
Black star like the bronze by my shine harder. Detroit red for my people who like the Godfather. We gotta talk economics, bonding and fill vaults.
Here to give you that real pulse is Tieltalk. Be trying to tell y'all, giving y'all that real pulse is Tieltalk. Mess with your boy. All right. Got a couple people in here. I'm about to go ahead and jump on it, y'all. Welcome to Tieltalk, episode Deuce 22. I am your host, Tila, and of course, this is a platform where we discuss all things regarding the culture. So if y'all did not get the chance, make sure y'all go check out my last interview with Dwayne Ruff. He's the director of the Black African American Cultural Center on Colorado State University, my alma mater. Go Rams. Y'all know we had to represent. That was a great interview, by the way. Strong black man, and he has that position because he earned it and he worked his way up, and he also do yoga on the side. So if y'all ain't catch that, make sure y'all go ahead, follow that, like, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend. So what I got this evening for y'all, you know what I'm saying, like, it's give y'all a little background on my man. So my next guest, Michael Conley. It's a lot I can say, you know, but I think, I do think people like him, he's a rare type of person because he practices what he preaches. Strong black man. I mean, he has a black family, entrepreneur. I mean, he just do everything. So let me go ahead and get y'all hip. Born and raised in U City. Shout out to U City. That's where a couple of my folks actually grew up. Went to U City High, South County Tech. Started working at the age of 13, and throughout his high school years, he knew he had a talent for cutting hair. When he started cutting his own hair, and a lot of people and a lot of family was asking him to do it, you know, he started chopping, you know, at the young age. He in high school because he a hustler. That's just what he do. So that led him to the path of attending Barber college at the age of 19. But by the age of 20, he owned half of his own barbershop. Now, let me run that back for y'all. Like, listen, barber school at 19, owned 50% of his own barbershop by the next year at 20. Like, y'all just don't get people jamming like how he be jamming. So once he stepped out and opened his first business, he realized he no longer could work a 9-to-5 and began to develop an entrepreneur mindset. That's why I got him on the show. I mean, come on, y'all. Like, what more do y'all want from this man? But I'm not done. That led him to the world of fitness, where he became a NASM, an acronym for National Academy of Sports Medicine Certified Personal Trainer. And that's not it, y'all. That ain't it. He opened his own fitness studio, but that's not it either. It's right next door. So y'all listen. So after he get done chopping you up, right? Go ahead and meet him next door, and he finna get on them weights and then get you right. Like, my next guest, like, he just that guy. Personally, he's been a mentor for me. One of the people that actually inspired me to write my novel that I'm in a process of writing. I mean, you know, words just can't really describe it. So his journey of overcoming challenges and obstacles in business was parallel to the challenges of working and meeting fitness goals, which gave him inspiration for his brand name and the current shop, Infinite Results. So without further ado, y'all, go ahead, welcome my man, Mike Conley. Let me go ahead, extend this olive branch to my mans right now. Send that. And we gonna get him on here, and we finna start cracking. I appreciate everybody joining in. I see y'all out here. AE, neat. See my boo there. Got mama on here. Yeah, yep, we outside. We waiting on my brother now. I just sent that request, Mike. I might have to just send it again for you. There we go. So while we wait, I see everybody on here. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? Lovely Sunday. Appreciate y'all taking the time out to, spend it with your boy. Waiting on my brother. Waiting on him to get up in here. Yeah, bro. Just go ahead and accept that Mike's wifey here. Hey, what's going on? Yeah, hey, we finna have a good one. Sit back, relax. We finna have a good one. Yeah, Mike, if you on here, bro, just go ahead and hit that accept live invite. Go ahead and hit that for me. I just sent you like 3 or 4 of them. So we're gonna wait on my brother to get in here. Like I said with in his intro, I mean, my man really just been jamming for real since since I knew him. He was always, the best barber in the shop, and that's just how I feel, When I first met him, when it was 3 barbers in there, and he was, the first barber I went to, and after that, the rest was history. So, waiting on my man's Mike. Okay. Okay. So he was in here. He might be up in here now. Yep. Yeah, Mike, go ahead and accept that invite, my brother. We gonna start. Let me see if I can go ahead and do it another way. You might have to just just hit the top of the screen, because I done sent you about 3 or 4 of them. We gonna wait. But while we wait, like I said, my last episode was with Dwayne Ruff. Great person. I met him when I first got to Colorado State. That's who my last interview was with. So y'all make sure y'all go check that out. He a cool man, man. He's super cool, super smooth. When I first met him, man, he would always have his little kufi on, like he was calming or somebody. And we would always, just joke about school and stuff. But hey, I took it serious. I had to take advantage of that opportunity that I had. So here we go. Mike, go ahead and join the video. I don't know what's going on. I sent you the invite. Just go ahead and join that. I don't know if you can do it on the iPad, so you might have to do it on your phone.
What's going on, bro?
Yes, sir. Mike, my brother, welcome. How you doing?
What's going on? I was trying to get it together on the iPad, man, but I'm having technical difficulties over here with that.
It's all good. I figured that's what was going on when I tried to invite you. It said you couldn't join. And I had knew what's going on. So, man, what's going on with you? How you feeling, man?
Oh, man, I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate the introduction, man. I'm like, man, I got to listen, and I'm like, man, that dude he's talking about sound good.
Hey, ain't no cap in my rap, and all my guests that I have on here exemplify Black excellence in some way, shape, or form. And, now after this conversation, you're going to be a hashtag Tieltalk alum. So I want to get started. I don't want to dive too deep yet. I just kind of want to scratch the surface. So as I mentioned in your intro, so you tell us about your barber school or your experience in barber school. So you started when you was 19, and you said you was cutting people in high school. So like when you first started cutting, like how many cuts did it take you to really realize like, oh, I might be nice at this?
Yeah, it took, I would say it was a couple of years. Like I was in school in the bathroom before the bell rang, getting to it like that. Then
right.
That went to like, going by friends' houses, cutting them up. And, really over time, and more cats, like really, it was one of my best friend's brother.
Mm-hmm.
I was in his garage, cutting his head, and he was like, bro, you ever thought about barber college? And at that time, it never really was a thought because
Right.
I graduated high school for heating and cooling. So
Right.
I thought that was going to be the path that I took, but I really didn't have a passion for it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided to, I initially proposed the idea to my parents.
Mm-hmm.
Why you want to be a barber? They don't have benefits, and they don't, it wasn't really, being a barber wasn't a profession that I think people saw that you could really make great money in and make a real good living in at that time. You
Right.
could cut hair, but yeah, it wasn't, especially as opposed to like heating and cooling, you know.
Right. Right. Yeah, that heating and cooling wasn't too bad though. I mean, hey, you hey, you was on the right path though, because hey, heating and cooling, you can get to you can make some nice money now.
Yeah, definitely, you can, because I had an uncle, and that's how I got on the path. But that I had an uncle, he had a heating and cooling, and it was it was going pretty good. I mean, not pretty good, it was going real good. He had a nice house, and I think, at that time, it was seen like, okay, if you go this route, we seen his outcome.
Right.
Barbering, it was kind of like a path that nobody really knew what the outcome was. Like I said, you see
Right.
cats cut her, whatever, not really,
Right.
profession, so to speak. So at that time.
So but what made you choose barber school over like a traditional, like formal university, like, SLU or Mizzou? Like, why did you choose to go that route versus the formal education route?
Well, be honest with you, at that time, I was really, I tell people, man, that 18 to 21 time,
Crazy time.
that's a very transitional period. And
Yeah.
it was a lot of pressure at that time because I had
Uh-huh.
friends going that route, going to college and all that. I graduated high school, and a lot of my peers, a lot of them wasn't going to college, but the ones that were, people like, oh, okay, they going to college. What you doing? And I'm like,
Right.
nothing, I'm working, so,
Right. Right.
and also I tell people, man, the 4-year university isn't for everybody.
It's not.
And I think in 2021, saying that makes a lot more sense than in 2005.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
in 2005, it's like, you ain't going to a university, or what you doing? But now in 2021, it makes sense. And then for me, I never really was, I wasn't the best student, and I think a part of that was because the school I was going to, and in a lot of public schools, they don't really hone in on what your passion is, or like what your, it's kind of like a cookie cutter program. They prepare you.
Yeah.
They're not preparing you to be an entrepreneur in the school system. It's just, they're not.
They not.
So
I agree.
I felt it in my gut in that moment. At that time, like, the 4-year university isn't for me. I always kind of had that hustler drive, and
Mm-hmm.
always been me.
And that's why you here, man. That's exactly why you here.
Yep.
So you choose to go to barber school, and you're doing your thing at the age of 19, and then at the age of 20, you own 50% of your own barbershop. Like, at that time, did you realize, like, man, at this age, like, I'm really, like, I'm doing it? You know what I'm saying? Because at that time, like, compared to, somebody who went to college, you might say, okay, you in college, but my credit already building. I'm learning how to do all of this stuff out here on my own. And then you was young. Like, I met you when you was young. Like I was saying in the intro, like, you was the first barber I had got my hair cut by. And I'm like, I need them. But did you realize, like, how major that was at that time?
At that time, I'm going to say yeah and no.
Okay.
I'm going to say yeah, because at 20 years old, anybody I would meet, or, friends or family, like, friends and family, when I would say, hey, I'm opening up a barbershop, they're like, you gonna work at a barbershop? Like, they couldn't fathom, like, you gonna
Right.
open, at 20 years old, And then people that I would meet, same thing. I'm like, hey, I own a barbershop. And they're like, you work at the shop, you manage the shop. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, nah, I'm owner out here, 50.
Right.
And like I say, even when they got past the fact that I owned it or whatever the case was, I think it sounds good.
Yeah.
And, but on the other end of that, at 20 years old, it kind of was a scary feeling because, you know, I don't come from a family that has I don't come from a wealthy family, you know, so, you know, it was one of those things like you walking a tightrope. You know, I think that, you know, a lot of times people see the ownership part and think, okay, you own something, so now you rich. No, that's not the case. Or, you know, like it's a lot of hard work to go in with, you know, a lot of hard work to go in with, you know, and it was a lot of learning that I had to do. Of course, by never taking a business course, never, you know, like I said, going to the public school where they not prepare you to be an entrepreneur, it was a lot of times that I bumped my head, you know, and I tell people to this day, I'm forever a student. You know, you get to a point where you feel like, oh, I know everything or I know it all. No, we don't. You know what I'm saying? I'm always a student. So a lot of things I had to learn, you know, especially about with credit. I'm still, you know, certain aspects of business credit. So, you know, but yeah, it was definitely, it was a journey starting off at 20.
Oh, okay. That's a fact. And you want to know what? To quote my granny, and she actually on here right now, she always tell me experience is the best teacher. And it really sounds like, you know, you didn't take no formal business course or nothing. So you was really out there learning on the fly. You know, you learning how to budget your money. You learning like, all right, well, if my skills can't pay the bills, you know what I'm saying, then I'm finna have to go back to square one, because if this chair ain't filled with clients and they ain't paying, you know what I'm saying, I'm finna have to make something shake. So, you know, with certain things like that, you know, you talked about, okay, I'm going here and I realized it, but I didn't. So, which brings me to my next point. How important is ownership for Black people today?
Oh, man. It's paramount.
Okay.
So I tell one of my sayings is the only way off the ship is ownership.
I love it. I got to put that in there. Okay.
Yeah, because, you know, until we have ownership, you know, we're going to keep repeating the same cycle.
Yep.
You know, and ownership in every aspect, not only just with business, but home ownership, business ownership, you know, having that control over everything that we do is paramount in whatever it is we're trying to accomplish. Our objective is you have to own it.
Right.
And that's, like I said, it's paramount, even with the home ownership, you know, because I think that when you own something, you take more pride in it, you know, and you definitely go above and beyond trying to make sure that you take care of whatever it is that you own, you know, and even, you know, I just got back from Charleston, South Carolina 2 weeks ago, and you know, that was like the hub for, you know, bringing slaves into America, you know. Just seeing that, it really reiterated that ownership is important, because they gave me an opportunity to really see like how the wealth gap is in America. We talk about the wealth gap, but, you know, going out there, seeing the generational wealth that's still passed down. Imagine being in a family, family's been millionaires for 300 and some years. Like that's heavy, you know. You know, thinking about as far as you've come, as far as I've come, we've come this far, and we like the first generation of work, you know. But you think about, you know, seeing some of these houses and this wealth. I mean, it's, you know, we've had such a late start in the thing. I think that the best way to try to catch up, even if that's even such a thing, you know, is to gain ownership, man. That's important.
Man, you ain't never lied. And I think, you know, to piggyback off that, even with ownership, I think one of the biggest problems we have is, you know, a lot of Black people, when you talk about ownership and business and stocks and really the game, you know, we just simply don't know it. But I'm getting away from that argument, because now it's 2021. We have this thing called a cell phone, whether you got Android, whether you got Apple, you know, like if you can get on there and update your status on Facebook, you can get on there. I'm going to tell y'all something. YouTube is a whole university.
Right. The university. That's it.
So you can graduate from YouTube University. I'm talking about you can learn how to build a skill. You can learn tips and tricks with credit. You basically can learn a lot of these things, and all of these resources is at your disposal on this phone. And it's just a matter of, are you disciplined enough, or do you want it bad enough, to go get it? Because our counterparts, they don't have to do that. They don't have to learn. And they don't have, because like you said, you come from a generation, a wealthy family. We've been wealthy for 300 years.
Right.
I have to do this. Like, I don't, because whether I fall short or I aim for the stars, mommy, daddy, or grandpa is gonna help me out.
Yeah. Big time. Yeah.
Man, so I want to talk about your brand, right? One of my favorite questions to ask all of my guests, whether they have a business, a brand, or anything, how did you get the name?
So I got the name. Actually, this Infinite Results, the name of my fitness brand first.
Okay.
Because I was sitting out with my wife one day, and originally for the fitness brand, I was gonna go with a V-cut fitness. Because I was focused on like abs and that V-cut.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, man, V-cut fitness, and she was like, nah, that sounds boring. I'm like, dang, all right, back to the drawing board on it. So I thought about my demographic, my clientele, and then the demographic that I wanted to target. And I feel like with fitness and being on my journey, because I used to be 270 pounds.
Yeah, big fella.
Right, little chunky, little chunky. But on that journey and just overcoming the obstacles that I've overcame in this, fitness health journey or whatnot, I'm like, you know what? Let me go infinite. Infinite results. Your results. Whether you wanted to, lose weight, gain muscle, whether you wanted to, get better with your speed, agility, and quickness for my athletes, stuff like that. And then, when I came into this, my new barbershop, same thing with the haircuts. Whatever you want to do, it can be infinite because, not only just haircuts, but, I do facials and, you get more than a haircut.
Right.
You're getting some knowledge, you networking, all that kind of stuff. So it's infinite, because I feel like there's no limitation on infinite. Infinite is something that can be as big as you want it to be. So, I feel like that was a good name for the brand.
I love that, man. And you actually hit on something that I definitely, I want to expand on. You said when you come in there, you're not just getting a cut. And I agree. It's a whole experience, because I've seen you be the 50% owner of a barbershop. Like, I know it's, your wife know you and everybody. I've known you, and I've been able to actually watch. Like, we from the Show Me State, and that's how I live. I'm from the Show Me.
Right.
So I don't care what you say. I'm going to watch you. And I've seen a transformation from your body to you dropping all that weight, you know what I'm saying, to you being in a physique competition. And just that from, okay, 50% owner of the shop, now I got my own shop. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, that in itself, if that ain't, you know what I'm saying, motivation enough for anybody, like if you come in, you always drop gems. Like the last conversation we had, I was telling you, man, I'm doing great with my job, but I'm not really sure. And you say, well, listen, embrace your space.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's something that it's on a loop in my head. I always try to stay on the even keel, but when it's them bad days, I'm like, you want to know what? My man's Mike was right. Like, embrace your space. So I do think you offer more than just a general, hey, come in, get a cut. It's like, no, I'm going to kick knowledge to you, and I'm going to kick game to you, the right kind of game. Because a lot of people can give you the wrong kind of game. And I think that's just as detrimental, as the other end of it. So, definitely every time people come in there, they definitely is getting an experience, and even your new shop now, which is what I want to talk about.
Okay.
Um, when did you open your new shop?
January 28th of 2020.
Man, how was that? Like, was that a surreal feeling for you? Like, okay, I went from a 50%, I owned half of it. Now I can do things my way. I'm on my time. I can have people in here who I want, and then I can kind of tailor my shop the way I want it, which is great, by the way. And I've seen the progression with that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really, man, it's an undescribable feeling. I mean, it was a hell of an experience. And that's partially where I came with that term embrace your space, because just the trials and tribulations I had transitioning from the old shop, coming to this shop, dealing with contractors that,
Yep.
Ripping you off, and just so many different things, man. Like, it's never going to be easy. It's always going to be bumps in the road, detours, because, literally I signed my lease at this shop of 2019. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, May 2019.
Okay.
Telling people, okay, I'm going to be open up by August.
Right.
And August hit, I'm like, okay, I'm going to be open by September. September, I'm going to be open by Halloween, you know what I'm saying? And then next January of 2020, because of all the different obstacles and stuff like that. So it was definitely a lot that came into it. But, actually, that first day when I opened up and cut my first head in here, it was like, man, I'm here. I'm here. And it's, I always use the analogy of, kind of being, kind of like a football game. The running back, they always say, keep moving your feet. Running back, he gonna always take hits. Keep moving, he gonna get to the end zone or where he trying to go. And I think that's what you got to do in life and in business. It's always gonna be an obstacle. You're gonna take a hit, but keep them feet moving, and keep pushing. And that's why, we here today.
I heard the man. Keep your feet moving, and that's exactly what he did. So, y'all, I'm gonna give y'all a quick story, right? So, I remember the very first time I went in his new shop. I walk in, I'm like, oh, okay, my boy done hooked it up in here. And y'all want to know what? This was the moment I knew my boy made it. Man, I'm sitting because he had somebody else in the chair. He stopped cutting. He came over there, poured me up some champagne. I'm like, oh, this first class service. I love how he get down. Like, to me, in my mind, that kind of like, I don't know, that kind of represented like, okay, now my man's he's in his element, and this is how he like to do, his own thing. And that's something, that I never forget. Obviously the gems you always drop. But when you handed me that cup, I'm like, oh yeah, it's up. I was drinking that thing with my pinky too. I'm like, man, my boy done made it, man.
That wasn't just champagne, we was pouring the Moet. He had
that. Oh, that was Moet. Excuse me, my fault, y'all. Hey, put some respect on the shop. That was Moet. My fault. No Andres. No Andres. That was Moet. All right, okay, I see you. So I want to talk about some of your craziest barbershop moments, right? I mean, it could be a funny story, a crazy story. Give us one of your funny, crazy, one of these barbershop stories that only barbers can tell.
Man, well, I mean, personally, my craziest story was the day that guy shot up the shop at the old shop. And
remember that?
It wasn't funny, but now I look back and I laugh. You know what I'm saying? It was hilarious, but it was a very teachable moment. You know what I'm saying? A teachable moment. And, the lesson learned in that moment is, for one, like, always, be looking out for just different things, of course.
Right.
But it was just, man, things transpire so fast. And it was that honestly, that had to be the craziest, moment.
So what happened though? Was it a disagreement or?
That's the thing. It wasn't even anything to do with the shop or haircut, none of that. It was the Tuesday morning after the Connecticut school shooting, when that dude is kindergartners and all that.
Well,
It was the Tuesday morning after that. We ended up watching the news, and that's all that they were talking about on CNN. And I was actually engaging in conversation with another guy waiting to get his haircut.
right.
And the guy that shot the shop up, so the guy that was waiting said something like they should have murdered that dude before he made it to them kids. Well, the guy that shot the shop up said, "You want to murder me?" So we tell him like, "No, he ain't talking to you." And mind you, the crazy part about it, what I find funny, the guy that shot the shop up, me and this man played chess every morning. Every morning. Like every morning he would come to the shop. He never got his hair cut, but he was an older guy.
Right.
He would come to the shop. We play chess every morning. He beat me every morning. And I'm a decent chess player. So I'm like, man, how did you get so good at chess? And he was like, oh, man, I did like 3 years back in the day in prison. Here's from East Coast.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, okay. So this particular morning, like I say, he thinks that the guy is talking to him, saying he wants to murder him. And we like, nah, he ain't talking to you, this and that. He walks to his car, gets a firearm. Well, I'm sorry, he got a black bag. Came back, he talking stuff to the guy. And then he started, what happened, the part that triggered him was he said, now I done put my gun on you, you're going to retaliate when you see me. And this young cat, he like, man, that ain't nothing. I done seen guns before. Wrong answer. So next thing you know, he cocked it back. He shot the wall. In between shots, he talking stuff. So he shot the wall. Then he shot the floor like he shooting down at the dude's feet. He fired off like 3 rounds. And then he looked at him and said, I spared you today. He didn't run out the shop. It ain't like the movies. He didn't run and skirt. He walked back to his car, set the bag on the seat. He might even put his blinker on. You know what I'm saying? And he just pulled off, about to go enjoy his day. Now, sitting there and I'm looking, I'm like, dang, one of the, like, hey, you know about the police, right?
Right.
Me, man, I'm looking like, dang, I don't really want to get,
Right.
Nobody got hurt. So I'm thinking like, I really, all right. So I called the police. I'm like, hey, shots fired, nobody injured. Send a car around.
Right.
Every cop within a 50-mile radius came to the shop. Oh, man. But fast forward, they get in there. I got a ticket for, it was a speeding. Well, I was speeding. The cop, instead of writing me a speeding ticket, he gave me a seatbelt ticket. It was 6 months prior to this event.
Right.
So
Right.
the police get in there, they take everybody ID. The cop come back to me and say, hey, you got a warrant for your arrest. I'm like, a warrant? I'm like, man, look, I own this shop. I'm the one that just called y'all.
Right.
You telling me I got a warrant? I just had bullets zinging past my head, man. So he was like, well, I'm like, well, tell you what, let me talk to your supervisor, superior. So then the lieutenant come over here like, hey, Mr. Conley, we normally wouldn't do this, but, we got to lock you up. So I'm thinking like, damn, I called y'all. Like, why did I left, So next thing I know, man, they cuffing me. They walking me out the shop in handcuffs. It's yellow crime scene tape all around. Customers. And so, I get locked up. I'm locked up for about maybe an hour and a half. I make it down to the precinct. I'm taking my shoes off because they booked me. So I'm taking my shoes off next to the shoes of the dude that shot the shop up. So we end up at the same place, man. I'm like, golly, but I got phone calls and texts like, the entire day because people, Winsville ain't a big town.
Right.
People calling, texting. And actually, the greatest part about that situation, it was a big promotion because Channel 4 came out to the shop and I did an interview with them the same day. So I was in jail for about an hour.
That's crazy.
Get out. I'm sorry, Channel 2. Channel 2 came out. I did an interview with them. And actually, as I was doing the interview, I was cutting ahead. So they on the news saying, okay, we had a shooting at a Winsville barbershop.
Right.
And as they interview me, I'm cutting ahead. So they'll let people know everything was okay. Mm-hmm. And showcase that there was a black barbershop in Winsville because, we were the first black-owned barbershop in Winsville.
Oh, yeah.
At the time, there was only 3 black businesses in that time.
Yep.
So that was a big pub. And honestly, that gave me a lot of the clients that I still cut today. So, you know, you know, in a break face, you know, take the bad with the good, you know, so it turned out good, man. It really did. But, you know, could have lost my life, but I gained a lot of business from it though. So
Oh, for sure. So I do gotta ask a question. So the dude who you was cutting while he started shooting, you ain't finished his cut?
oh, so that's another thing. I finished his cut
Oh,
and
okay.
I should have gave him his haircut free. He got out the chair. He got out the chair, and I'm like, all right, you know, that'll be $20. You know? But you know what's scary though, man? Like not scary, but what's crazy after the fact, I cut his head maybe one more time,
Right.
and it's never let him come back to the shop after that because dude was like 17. You know what I'm saying? It was on winter. It was 1 week before Christmas.
Right.
You know, so they were on winter break. You know, he never I cut his hair one more time after that. He never came back to the shop.
Dang.
Lost one, but you know.
That's funny though. Like I'm trying to picture, like I'm in the head, I'm in the chair I'm getting lined up, whatever. Whoa. Only for you to, hey, I need that dub, bro.
Right. Because this might be it. You know, I didn't know. Because at the time, I'm thinking like, man, it's going to hurt the business, you know. But it turned out to benefit the business. You know, it really did. You know, they say all publicity is good publicity. So,
man, that's what's up. But even like going through, you know, your whole day, you go from it's a normal Tuesday,
yeah.
you know, cutting hair, bullets flying. I'm the one getting locked up.
Right.
I get out, do the interview, cut more hair.
Yeah.
Got the, you know, the camera on you. Like that's a day you had. All right, and okay, that's definitely Tieltalk. That's one of the best Tieltalk stories right there, man. That goes in the Tieltalk Hall of Fame. I'm telling you. So what I want to do now is I want to turn it over to the audience, and I want to give them a chance to ask you some questions. So if y'all could please tap the circle with the little tail right there with the question mark in there and put y'all questions in there. Please, please, please. And please don't be shy, y'all. I'm telling y'all, don't be shy. Go ahead, ask my man any question you want.
One thing I want to say, I ain't on no Kanye stuff, man, but I just do want to toot my horn a little bit. You mentioned I was in a physique competition. You got to add, man, I won first place. You know what I'm saying?
That's my fault. He was in a physique competition, his first one ever, and he got first place. Hey, that's GOAT status though. Like imagine you doing something out of your element. Like that's like you saying, I want to run a marathon and I'm training. It's my first marathon. And it's a good marathon and you coming first. Like that's a huge accomplishment, man. You want to know what you stuck to it? Because I remember when you was doing the fasting, you know, you was juicing. Like, man, you was doing a little bit of everything. So, man, that's kudos to you, man, for sure. Kudos to you. I'm just saying, if you shoot up my shop while I'm trying to cut your hair, you're not gonna be crooked as hell. You've only got yourself to blame. Yeah. Yeah, that's facts, yeah. Okay, Jewel Spears is asking, I'm assuming she said how long to do your so do you cut your own hair? I'm assuming is what she asking.
So believe it or not, man, you know, today you can look at my cut. This is my first fade I've done. I grew up cutting my own hair, but this is my first time fading my own head. I always do my own beard. That's like,
right.
But you know, I got two great barbers that are cutting her with me here at Jackson, and they cold. So I always but they've been getting busy, couldn't get to them, and I'm actually, as I'm looking at myself in the camera, I'm like, damn, I kind of hooked my head up a little bit. Yeah, I always do my own beard though, you know, and it's typically like a 10-minute job. You know, it don't take that long. Yeah.
Okay, so Bloom in 2 Rows says, what is the most challenging part of being an entrepreneur? That is a great question.
The most challenging part about being an entrepreneur is getting everyone else around you to see your vision. And what I mean by everybody else around you, like your closest people. Like with me wanting to go to barber school, if I would have listened to my parents, I wouldn't be here today. Love my parents to death. They love me to death.
Right.
However, you know, it's almost like me taking my glasses off, saying, "Here, can you see through them?" You know, of course, be blurry. You know, everybody has their own vision, and you once you have your sights on whatever objective or goal you're trying to reach, you got to stay at it. And you know, it's really kind of like I always tell people, you know, it's kind of like, once again, going to the football analogy, is a wide receiver. You know, they running their route. It's always somebody trying to, you know, deflect them from, you know, receiving the ball or whatnot. You know, like I said, it can come from your best friend, your loved ones. Everybody not gonna see your vision. And I would say that's sometimes the toughest part, because we all have moments where we second guess ourselves. Like it was 1,000 times in Barber college and throughout my years in business, where I was like, damn, am I doing the right thing? Like when I was 20 and opened up and, you know, went into business at the first job, you know, it was weeks where I didn't have my car note money, you know, and my car note might have been due Friday, and here it is Tuesday, and I don't have the money.
Right.
You know, at that time, you start second guessing, like, damn, did I make the right choice? You know, like, am I really, you know, on the right path? So that's always probably the most challenging part. And then the second part would just be time management.
Okay.
You know, everything out, because being an entrepreneur, you really are, you know, they call it being self-employed. You know, go to a 9 to 5, you go to work. When you get there, your supervisor has a list of things for you to do. And you there from, say, 10 to 6 or 9 to 5, whatever the case is. But when you're an entrepreneur, you have to, you know, you have to really create the task that you have to do, you know, and you have to perform them well, and, you know, definitely make sure that you providing quality product as well as quality service, you know. So you definitely got to do that. So those are probably the most challenging parts about being an entrepreneur.
Okay, Kitchen Cuts himself. I be seeing him all the time on Instagram. His cuts do be crispy. Shout out to him. Says, what's the most satisfying part of being an entrepreneur?
The most satisfying part about being an entrepreneur, I would say, is some of the freedoms. You know, sometimes it's not about the money, it's about the freedom at the end of it. And it took me a while to learn that, because initially, of course, we work, trying to make money. But, you know, just like Friday, you know, my son texted me, they had a dance Friday night. It was $15 to get into the dance. And he texted me, hey, I forgot the money at home. I'm at school. So, you know, being quote unquote my own boss, you know, just text a couple people, hey, I'm running 15 minutes late. Stop, went to the school, gave them the money, came right back. You know, a lot of people that work that 9 to 5, they got to ask a boss.
Right.
Leave, and if that boss say no, then you can't go. Or, you know, a couple of weeks back going to South Carolina, I didn't have to put in no paid vacation time or, you know, nothing like that, or, you know, even use none of that, what they call a PTO. Paid. You know, granted, it costs money to go, and you know, block that time out of your schedule, so you're not earning money, but you plan for it. And look, I'm not going to be here on these dates, you know. So I would say those are some of the most satisfying parts about being an entrepreneur.
Okay. All right. Lovely 11725. Shout out to mine. Says, thanks for keeping his hair on point all of those years. Hey, I ain't gonna lie. I done seen some pictures when I was in high school. I was crispy on there. I'm talking about looking like, all right, here we go. Okay, Brown Sugar High, shout out, babe. What's the first step you took to entrepreneurship? What's the first step you took to entrepreneurship?
So that right there, that's kind of a loaded question to a degree. Because one thing I do want to stress is that even if you don't own a business per se, you can still be an entrepreneur. Because I think that you have different categories in that. You know, you have, because you honestly, every business owner isn't an entrepreneur.
Right.
And a business owner. You know, when I was a kid and I would go to the shop, my second, because, you know, of course you got to keep like a backup barber. So, you
Right.
know, backup barber, you know, he would not only cut hair, but he would sit CDs, CDs,
Hmm.
oils. You know, he was an entrepreneur. He didn't own the shop, so technically he wasn't a business owner.
Right.
So my thing is, your first step in being an entrepreneur is really having a goal in mind. You can even use your 9 to 5 as part of your journey in entrepreneurship. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
What I'm.
That right there is key. You know, if you're working a 9 to 5 and you don't have any goals outside of that 9 to 5, then, you know, you not an entrepreneur. But if you know, like, okay, I'm using this to invest here and then do this, and I got other goals, that's it. So really, I would say, to answer your question, I think the first step in being an entrepreneur is actually having a vision. You know,
Mm.
that would probably be the first step. The first step. You know. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I got a question.
What you got?
Okay. Have you ever cut somebody hair and they didn't like it? Like they told you, like, yeah, bro, I'm not feeling this cut. Like, this just ain't it. This ain't what I wanted.
Uh, nah.
He cold. He the greatest.
And I, like I say, because my thing, you know, in being a barber, communication is key. You know, I've had people sit in my chair and we talk about what we're about to do, you know,
Right.
at least, you know, for 10, 15 minutes before I
Right.
even, you know, it honestly, and I had messed up a haircut. I will say that. I've never had an experience with somebody like, oh, no, I don't like this. But I remember one time I had a kid that I cut, and at the top of his head, his hair pattern grew this direction and that direction.
Mm.
And kid at the time, and I was young. I was probably, you know, within my first year of barbering, and I nicked him. And I'm talking, man, it really was like a patch in his head the size of a quarter. You know, but his dad still paid me, and the liner was fresh. You know, so
Oh, of course.
the liner got to be right. But you know, honestly, I've probably cut more heads and given more haircuts that I didn't like
Mm-hmm.
versus somebody saying I don't like this. Because I remember I had one guy, he wanted all of his hair cut off,
Mm-hmm.
like the back, like in the back, like he wanted a bald head, but in the
Mm-hmm.
back of the head, he wanted like this little rectangle looking patch of hair.
Right.
What he did, I don't know. You know, I don't know what he was trying to accomplish, but you know, I had that situation. I remember cats used to come in and want like the double lining.
Yep.
I hate it. Like I don't like doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm hooking your head up and you want a double lining, like why? Why? You know, but so I can honestly say I've probably had more haircuts that I didn't like versus somebody saying, nah, man, this ain't it. You know what I'm saying? Because I communicate. You got to communicate.
Man, that is what's up, man. So, man, you talked about you starting barber college at 19 to owning, 50% of a shop to physique competition winning first place to, you really being a man and growing into your own, which I've had I've had the privilege to really sit back and watch firsthand.
Yeah.
And so before I get off here, I do want to ask, what advice would you give yourself at 19 years old?
Man, at 19, oh, man, I ain't going to lie. If I knew at 19 what I know now, I'd have probably been a millionaire at 30. No, honestly, my 19-year-old self, man, I would have definitely started working on like business credit. And of course, even now, like I invest in stocks, you know, I do different things like that. I wish I would have learned that then. And I
Mm-hmm.
think part of that, you know, we were earlier talking about like that wealth gap.
Right.
Part of it because, you know, I'm be honest, I love my family to death, but nobody in my family tells me stock information. I get it here at the shop.
Right.
You know, the guy that introduced me to stocks, he's a millionaire. You
Okay.
know, like, you know, that's one thing I love about being in the shop. It gives you the opportunity to communicate and converse with people that you normally wouldn't talk to.
Mm-hmm.
I could go back and, you know, talk to my 19, 20-year-old self. I would definitely, I would also tell myself to be a little more I guess, courageous. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And, which is, being an entrepreneur is literally similar to jumping out of an airplane. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Parachute on your back, you hope it's gonna open. And you plan on it opening,
Right.
but So I think I would definitely tell myself to, try to do a little more in the sense of taking a little bit more risk. Still be conservative, but take more calculated risk and things of that sort. Definitely. But I wouldn't trade it for the world, man. If I could do it all over, I would definitely choose the path of entrepreneurship. And I even the young guys that come in and women that come in, I encourage them as well.
Mm-hmm.
Get an LLC. Try it. It's I mean, think about even in basketball. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? If you don't shoot the ball, you ain't gonna score.
That's true.
That's why people say shoot your shot. Like literally in business, you got to shoot your shot.
Got to.
Go in or it's not, but your chances of it going in, if you don't shoot it, is nothing's gonna happen. So I think in business, jump out there, and also another saying that I have is passion over paper.
Okay.
Because even with barbering, if I would have been chasing money the entire time, I would have quit 15 years ago.
Right.
But I have a passion for it, and I have a passion for fitness.
Right.
Because choosing the money, there's the business isn't always going to be consistent or always be there. But if the passion is there, people going to feel that passion and they're going to rock with your brand just on that alone.
Okay. So he done broke it down for us, man. So what can we expect from you and your brand moving forward? You got anything, in the works? Is it anything new? Or are you trying to just, stay updated? What can we expect from you moving forward?
Moving forward, right now, I'm transitioning into I want to become more autonomous.
Mm-hmm.
Because, previously in the past, starting out in '07, that was real like grassroots, hands-on. But we in 2021.
Right.
You have to, get more like, I mean, if you notice, even me getting into this live, I was struggling.
Mm-hmm.
So, my goal is to really become more tech savvy.
Okay.
I'm definitely gonna post more on Instagram.
Yep.
Just, doing things of that sort. Because we've come to a space in the business world where it's a device between the business and the consumer.
Yes.
Back when I started, I was going to Walmart in Wentzville saying, "Hey man, where you get your hair cut at? All right, here go my card."
Right.
Now I got apps like Style Seat, we got Facebook, Instagram.
Yep.
There's so many technological mediums. So just moving forward. Getting more tech savvy and other business endeavors. I do like to speak things into existence. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm currently planning on, I'm going to jump into the Turo world, want to get on tour. Of course, real estate is
Mm-hmm.
also something that I wanted to jump into. I see a lot of cats getting money in the Airbnb space.
Yep.
Definitely, scoping that. I ain't necessarily jumping in yet, but I'm watching it. And just, a great friend of mine that's an entrepreneur, he once told me, like, man, if it looked like money, I try.
Right.
And take that same approach. If it looked like money, I try. And like I said, you got to shoot that shot. So those are some of the things, man. But definitely in my, I'm 34 now, so in my mid-30s, I look to just really be more autonomous and create ways to generate revenue without actually having to physically be there.
Right.
That's one of the main things because, we're in a space now where everybody's busy. So
Mm-hmm.
I do pretty well for myself, but it's going to come a point in time where I'm losing money standing behind a chair.
Yes. Yep.
Definitely I look to just, become more into the tech space, different, businesses that don't have to be hands-on. So.
Well, y'all heard it here first on Tieltalk, man. Tieltalk episode 22 featuring my man, my brother, my mentor, Michael Conley. Hey, I really appreciate you taking your time out your Sunday where you could be with your family and you could be cutting, making money, doing whatever, but you here with your boy, and I do appreciate you. And I do want to say, I see you. I only have people on my platform that I feel like exemplify Black excellence, and I feel like you are now a part of that club. So, man, I appreciate your time. And for the audience, thank y'all for tuning in. Episode 22 of Tieltalk. That is a wrap. Mike, appreciate you.
Oh, man, I appreciate you, brother. You're doing your thing. I'm proud of you, man. Keep doing it, bro. Keep doing it.
Appreciate you, man. You have a good one. Take care.
You too.
All right.